Tom, you gonna let him get away with that? You gonna let this fucking punk get away with that? What's the matter? What's the world coming to?
What the fucking world is coming to? How do you like that? How's that, all right?
What's the fucking matter with you? What is the fucking matter with you? What are you, stupid or what? No, Tommy, I'm kidding with you. What the fuck are you doing? Are you a fucking sick maniac?
How do I know if you're kidding? What do you mean you're kidding? You're breaking my fucking balls?
I'm fucking kidding with you. You fucking shoot the guy.
Welcome back, and we are now done with the regular season. It is over, and we have our two new additions to the playoff race, and sadly, we have two eliminations. Let's talk about the good news first. Two folks got into the playoffs. One of them was no surprise. Juneau Eskimos are ninth team making the playoffs. Let's just go to an oldie but a goodie. And of course, the unbelievable tale of the Balls Deep Briskets. No one can deny Dustin had just an epic end to the season. The passion was just unbelievable all year. Never, ever, ever, ever thought they weren't going to make the playoffs.
That's right. Don't ever count me out.
And we were had down to a 1% chance. ESPN had Dustin at a 1% chance of making the playoffs. And yet Dustin somehow pulls out the probability miracle and is in.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
I mean, leave it up to the Balls Deep Briskets. Dustin, as a fantasy manager, in every aspect of the life, Dustin always figures out how to make the best of a bad situation. But we have to talk about the eliminations as well. And there were two.
I know you guys. We heard about your shindig tonight. We want in. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Come on, dude.
Are you still talking? Get the fuck out of here.
Dick.
Oh.
Now, as you know, the replacements just had a terrible end to the season. I think it was a 4-game losing streak. Might have been 5 games. Same difference. A little bit of film of the replacements approaching their end of the regular season.
Lee Baldwin.
And our other eliminated team, this one's a sad one because I really thought, based on some of the early stuff in the season, we were going to see Raleigh Fingers Your Sister making the playoffs. Fortunately, now they are out, and I do not need to say the team name after this, I don't think. Anyway, we did have that special Saturday episode, and as you remember, in that episode, we did predict the decline and elimination of the Raleigh Fingers Your Sister team, and just, you know, this is what they had to say about that.
No, you're right.
Now, I will say that I know this podcast was fairly optimistic about Zach making the playoffs, but it turned out that to our two teams that made it in, Juneau and Balls Deep, Raleigh Fingers never really was the threat they seemed.
Look out!
Okay, there are not going to be any game recaps this week. We're just moving forward into the playoffs. There is nothing about looking back, but I do want to go ahead. I'm going to skip Club 600, 700, all that stuff, whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. But I do want to address some pretty big achievements, and that would be Club 11,000 and Club 12,000. We had some new entrants.
So according to my calculations, I don't give a fuck.
Okay, so we don't want to go into Club 11,000, Club 12,000. It's already a long enough podcast to start with. But I do think we need to address this. And as you can see here, our friend ADB noticing that one of the teams scored under 300 this week. Now, there is no excuse after 20 weeks to not have been able to build a roster that can score over 300 points. I think everybody should be scoring over 400 points at this stage, but whatever. This podcast is a judgment-free zone.
That is a lie.
But we still have to address this, and Diablos Blancos is correct, and I think we have a sewer squad observation. So let's keep moving on here, and even though we don't have an 11,000, 12,000 focus this week, I do need to focus on Team J to the P and their point total for the season. I mean, just how many points did Team J to the P score this season?
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000? There's no way that can be right!
And sure enough, J to the P was wrong. They did not score 9,000. They scored 8,918 points this season. Not good. Just not good. That is almost 4,000 points, or 50% off of what hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragon scored. It might be the lowest point total in Infinity Fantasy Baseball League history. Somebody should look that up.
Oh, somebody get a sponge.
I don't understand. Why don't you get a sponge?
And speaking of somebody looking that up, I have good news. So the good news is, if you remember, we had a bit of a labor dispute here in the Infinity Fantasy Baseball League podcast offices. But although it's been a week or two, we finally got it resolved. We've signed a new collective bargaining agreement between me and the interns. It took a little bit of strategic negotiating on my part, but we were able to get there. And that's the good news, because really at the end of the day, it's all about you, the audience, and bringing together the best podcast we can with shitty interns. But there were two criteria in this bargaining agreement that, well, I'm not really big fans of. And I had to concede a little bit on the hours.
Really look at the efficiency of this pattern. You can really... Oh, what a day.
But the good news is, I think everybody's happy.
I'm satisfied with the conditions that I'm living in now.
That is a lie.
And, well, it's really hard to say. I'm content.
That is a lie.
I live in a nice house.
That is a lie.
And I'm doing all right.
That is a lie.
All right, now, I know collective bargaining, labor negotiations, all of that fun stuff is what you're here to listen to in this podcast. But it's time to get serious, because now it is time to leave the regular season behind and move forward into the playoffs. And with that, we moved into the playoffs with some incredible words from our commissioner late Sunday night after the games were over, West Coast time, when most of the league was asleep. If you missed it, I captured it here for you. Inspirational words from our commissioner as we head into the playoffs.
Without further interruption, let's celebrate and suck some.
All right, now let's visit our top three teams this season, 2025 Infinity Fantasy League playoffs. Here are our number 1, number 2, and number 3 seeds in these playoffs. All right, now as you know, 10 teams make the playoffs. We've got a little mini round this week. 4 teams vying for 2 spots. We can call it a play-in game, but I'm not going to do that because I'm actually in this round, and I want it to count as a true playoff round so I can brag about that in the coming years. And if I call it a play-in round, kind of weakens the bragging rights. Anyway, what are the other 6 teams doing? But let's focus on the winners. Let's focus on those that had success in 2025 in this league. This is a super competitive league, and for making the playoffs, everybody here, big congratulations to you. It is not easy. In fact, we went down to the very last inning of the very last regular season game, Sunday Night Baseball, to determine our ultimate last entrant into our playoffs. It was fun. But now, it's a new season.
Welcome to a brand new beginning, you sorry shits.
And who better than this special guest to explain the difference between the regular season and the intensity of the playoffs? Yeah, the regular season. That's the slow roll, man. Those first few puffs, easy drags. You're just settling in. Game after game, day after day, it's steady, it's mellow. You got time to catch your breath. But then, you hit that last stretch, and that's when the roach starts burning. Hotter, harsher, every pull just slaps harder. You see, in the regular season, you can coast a little. Miss a shot, drop a game, no biggie. But in the postseason, every game, every at-bat, every pitch, that's resin-thick pressure. Every second, it's sticky. It clings, it lingers. You feel it in your chest. And then, man, the last hit, it's not smooth anymore. It's raw, it's fire. It's everything. It's when everything comes rushing in all at once. It's not just the end, it's the playoffs. Now, we're not going to do a full playoff breakdown this week. We've just got 2 games. And we're going to wait until these 2 games determine and fill out the core bracket. And then next week, we'll do a much more decomposing breakdown of the entire bracket. But let's be honest, this week's a play-in game. And most of the league isn't really that intrigued by these 4 teams. Not until the winners have been determined. So, what does that mean? It means we're going to kind of shortchange these 4 guys and the 2 games that they're playing in. But we have a lot more to talk about because this isn't the only playoffs that's going on. We have alternative playoffs. Now, what do I mean by that? If you've been around in previous seasons, you know that I run multiple playoff scenarios. We don't just follow the commissioner's lead. I mean, half the time he's got his head up his ass. So we go down and we break out different standings. You've seen them, and we're going to go through them. Let's go through the final standings of the various alternatives that we have looked at this season. First and foremost, we have the traditional standings, right? This is what the rest of the world uses. This is still incredible to me. So there's been a little bit of debate between the commissioner and myself, maybe some others, about should we go back to traditional standings. I look at this and I think, yeah, we should, because look at the ties, look at the break, it's just crazy. Everybody pretty much is in the playoff hunt. The line there, that's at the 8 mark. That's not at the 10 mark. I changed this because in my playoffs, only the top 8 teams make the playoffs, mostly because I didn't want to do play-in games. But look at this. It is so close. And we have teams that have made our playoffs. Juneau, balls deep. Hit pitches, get pitches, barely makes it. So this is pretty exciting, but I'm not advocating for that. Commissioner has convinced me otherwise. With the bonus win, bonus loss scenario, we get fun all the way through the week, all the way into the Sunday games with meaningful late night Sunday baseball bonus win, bonus loss happenings. So I am completely on board. Jared has changed my mind. This is fun. This is a great alternative bracket. Now, let's take a look at the bracket itself. All right, so here is what would be the bracket if we just followed standard ESPN rules and win-loss, win percentages, and all that. We've got number one team, Red Wine Redbirds, playing hit pitches, get bitches, and so on down. You can read. Now, for those of you who have not been around, I'm just going to basically use your score this week, and we're going to determine the first round, second round, third round playoffs each week. Now, these alternative playoffs are built so that they end 1 week before our real league championship. No reason to try to steal any thunder from the league championship. So these are all set up to end before the league championship. Here's traditional standings. It's one of 3 or 4 that I've got. But you can see if we just followed standard ESPN rules, and this was a league like every other league in ESPN, Yahoo, and CBS, and all the other entities, this is what we'd get. We'll follow it. Set your lineups. Set your lineups, folks. Even if you're not playing this week, if you're in a bye, set your lineups. Otherwise, you're going to get trashed in the alternative standings. All right, now we move on to the everyone versus everyone standings. We had a little bit of movement here. Last week, ADB and Hashtag were tied, but at the end of the everyone versus everyone season, Hashtag does hold on barely to win. So congratulations, Hashtag. I think you win this every year, don't you? I mean, I'd have to go back, and I'm kind of lazy. My interns suck. It's almost time for them to leave. Anyway, look at this. Heading on down this. Again, I'm only taking the top 8. Juno, the replacements, Balls Deep, Raleigh, goodbye. Pretty cool. What does the bracket for this one look like? Here you go. Everyone versus everyone bracket. Set your lineups, folks. Again, you got to win one of these brackets. You got to have some bragging rights, right? Let's move on to the next set of standings. All right, here what we got is what I've been posting for a few weeks now, trailing 5-week scores. And the reason I do this is basically to show current momentum, right? I don't need to describe this. We've done it at least 2 podcasts in a row. But coming into the end of the season, this is how the teams rank based on their past 5 weeks average scoring. Red Wine Redbirds, absolutely dominating. How does one not pick Red Wine to win the championship this season? I don't know. Tune in next week when we do predictions. ADB and Hashtag. Hashtag's doing a lot better than I thought. I thought Hashtag had crashed and burned, but they are holding tight in that second spot with ADB. You got hit pitches, get bitches. Nobody's surprised there. Juno Eskimos, awesome. Just continuing to be pretty powerful. Had a pretty bad week this past week. Balls Deep Brisket, that's a story. That is a story, and we've told it, and I don't want to go through it again. And then we got started from the bottom. Not finishing on the bottom, baby. Started from the bottom. Look at that. They are scoring big points. That means next year they are going to be a contender. Matt's Marauders, we know some injury situation there. Grip It and Rip It, always a contender, having some tough times right now. Sour Grapes. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that train, your bandwagon train has, yeah, well. Anyway, you can read the rest of it. We don't want to spend any time on that far down. You know, you start to look down the standings and it's just too fuzzy that far away. I can't see down there. But let's move to this. I don't know how relevant this is. 3 weeks, 5 weeks allows us to kind of churn out the 2-start pitcher situation. Everybody probably gets a 2-start pitcher every 5 weeks. But 3 weeks, yeah, there's some 2-start pitching. I think it comes in more into play here, but it is fun to see what 3 week standings look like. Hit pitches, get bitches. Balls Deep Briskets. I mean, they're really, really doing well. I don't know what to tell you, man. It is going to be a crazy playoff run. If you look at 5 weeks, you look at 3 weeks, you look at the season-long traditional standings, you look at everyone versus everyone. I mean, I got to say, everybody is in contention. Every team that's in the playoffs has a chance of winning.
That is a lie.
Okay, now this one's just for shits and giggles. I thought this would be fun. This is a head-to-head matrix. So every team against every team. These are the games that were in our schedule, and this is basically what the outcome was. So of the Infinity League schedule, every team playing every team, just if you were curious how every team lines up with every team, there you go. Boom. Oh, and this one is probably even more interesting. This is our head-to-head everyone versus everyone matrix. This is pretty cool. So again, if every team played every team every week, this would be the standings between and among the teams. It's just for information. It's fun. And the most important thing is it is a cheat sheet to bragging rights. I'll leave it at that. Okay, so we went through, obviously, the current online playoff bracket. You're all familiar with that. We went through the traditional standings, right? That bracket. We went through the everyone versus everyone bracket, but there's a couple more.
Hello. Yeah? I'm here for the gangbang.
I mean, balls deep. I know you made the one bracket. That's great, but you're not invited to every party, man. You're not invited to everyone. You got to earn your way in. Now, the next one is total points. So basically, again, this is just total points scored through the season, bracketed out, and you'll see here another set of brackets that you can win. The total points championship. This one right here is one that I think is a lot of fun. And what we did, every team is in this bracket. So again, it'd be nice if you guys would set up your lineups. Even if you're not in it, why not just play for 3 more weeks? It doesn't take a lot of effort. Teams. So basically, of the 16 teams, these are pairings. The number 1 team, ADB, paired with the number 16 team, Pagnozzi's Poppers. The number 2 team, #Lawless, is paired with our number 15 team, and so on and so on and so on. And we'll play this out and we'll see who actually gets to win an Infinity Team bracketed championship. This one's a lot of fun, and it just adds up the score of the 2 teams. So talk to your partnering team and make sure they set up their frickin' lineup, because otherwise you can't win this thing. And if you do win this thing, the commissioner does give big prizes. Huge, the best prizes. Because he's a teamwork guy and he likes the teamwork bracket.
L-A-M-E. Put them all together and they spell lame.
What else? Oh, I think I'm going to put together some kind of losers bracket. I was too lazy to do it this time, but here you go. This is what the losers bracket's gonna be. We'll start it next week because nobody knew about it this week. And yeah, you will get your very own commemorative dumpster fire coin. Yes, for the 3 worst teams in the league. In fact, yes, there's gold, there's silver, there's bronze. And gold is the worst. You are the worst team in the league. You get a gold commemorative dumpster fire coin. And then second worst, third worst. So work hard, try to win the championship, try to be the worst team in the league. If I don't get this off the ground, it's just going straight to the standings. And Pagnozzi's Poppers would be our designated winner, but I'm hoping to do some kind of bracket. Anyway, we'll see. And it is time now for the power rankings. And this is it. This is the final power rankings of the regular season. But as you know, before we get to the power rankings, we have to take care of the sad side of business. And that is because somebody didn't score 400. There was only one team that didn't score 400 or more points this week. But they pulled the next 2 lowest scores down into the basement gang. And that's just not fair. 297 points for Team J to the P. Just awful. Just an awful score. The worst performance of the year. I mean, it's just, let me put it in perspective for you. In the first week, it was 4 days long, but one of the days was off because of opening day, rain, blah, 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 right? So of 3 days in week 1, these are all the teams that would have beat Team J to the P in week 20. 20 weeks to have built a roster, trading, free agent acquisitions, waivers, waiting for prospects to come. But let me just tell you the teams that would have beat Team J to the P in their 3-day week 1. Juneau Eskimos had 309 points. ALD East Sour Grapes, 294. Red Wine Redbirds, 369. Hit Pitches Get Pitches, 305. Pagnosi's Poppers, 330. Arizona Diablos Blancos, 304. Matt's Marauders, 377. Hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons, 374. The Replacements, 300. Raleigh Fingers Your Sister, 399. 3 days. A 3-day week beats week 20, Team J to the P. Ouch. But anyway, we got Basement Gang business. Let's do it. Final run. Final run.
Yo, man, let's get out of here. Word to your mother.
All right, now I know there was a grocery bag wearing person in that video. This is a playoff person. This is a playoff team that was in the Basement Gang as they are just going into the playoffs. You know, you really want to be hitting the playoffs with full momentum. But this team was in the Basement Gang. I know the grocery bag there hides their identity, but I debated, and the interns convinced me that we really shouldn't be allowed to hide identities. So, with that said, here is a reveal of who that person was. All right, now let's get into the business at hand, and that is our top 5, ending out the regular season. 20 weeks of hard work has gotten us here. 11 teams are not in the power rankings, but 5 are. And I'll tell you, after the labor dispute, the interns came back with a vengeance. They shook things up. I'm not sure I agree with this. I'm but the messenger. Do not shoot the messenger. Coming in at number 5, Grip It and Rip It. Heading into the playoffs with a strong week 20. Was looking dicey there for a couple weeks, but week 20, they came in strong. Surprisingly, their week 20 opponent, who lost to Grip It and Rip It, holds on to number 4, and that would be hashtag Lawless Bearded Dragons. That sounds like a reward for a long, hard-fought, strong season. Coming in at number 3, that would be fan, not favorite, Arizona Diablos Blancos, which means number 2. Yep, rising again, week after week, possibly going in strongest into the playoffs in 2025 is Hit Pitches Get Bitches. And that leaves us with what I can only say is a multi-week, absolutely dominant roster, putting up points like nobody's business. Red Wine Redbirds. I cannot wait to see all these teams in the playoffs. This is going to be phenomenal. And like I said before, I mean, literally any of our 10 teams can win the playoffs.
That is a lie.
So that's it. That's a wrap. That's our episode. I wish well to everybody. That's it. That's a wrap. We're going to gift this one out to Dustin, and we're going to let Dustin take us out for the closing episode of the regular season.
Okay.
Is this weird? It's not weird.
Oh, you find it.
I mean, I'd only allow a puppy to do this, you know?